Welcome to the channel, fam. Today we're in the Hernandez garage, and I got a couple things that I want to show you in regards to communications, what we're using, why we're using it. This is the Baofeng, the infamous Baofeng handheld two-way radio that I wanted to go over today. So let's get started. Hear that sound? So the Baofeng radio, everything you see here, I purchased off Amazon. You can click the link in the description to purchase if you're interested in it after this video. If you're already sold out because I use it, great. But this little Baofeng UV5R, it's a pretty interesting little piece of kit. When you're building out the reasons why you need communications, take this into consideration, okay? You have three foundational pieces of preparedness. You have your EDC, which is what you carry on your body. You have your mobility platform, which is your vehicle-based movements for travel. And then you have your safe haven, which is your home, okay? After you have those pieces and the right mindset, you need to consider the pillars of survival, which are food, water, shelter, comms, which is what we're gonna be talking about today, basic med, and security. Today we're gonna be talking about comms for those three foundational pieces, okay? Specifically, the Baofeng UV5R, which I keep kind of putting up and down, is the radio that I want to talk today, and I think this is a really great solution, especially for beginners, okay? First and foremost, the size is awesome. I have my pack out here that I typically carry on an everyday basis. Well, it's one of them. I have several. This one just seems to be in rotation right now, but I think it's gonna cycle out with the addition of the baby. That'll be a different video. You can check out the video on this bag. I forget what episode it is. Maybe I'll link it also in the description. I'm not gonna go over that now. But if you look, this little radio can fit really anywhere in this if you're everyday carrying this bag. I actually don't everyday carry this radio, but we'll go through why I don't. If you wanted to, you could. You see there, and it's gone. So the size is really great. It's compact. You can give this to your kids. Let's say if you're at an amusement park or you're camping, or your buddies can carry them if one's scouting and one's on the gun or whatever during hunting. There's a lot of things that you can carry this. Typically, I use this in my Jeeps though. The reason for that is the size. I can mount it wherever I want it. I can put it behind my panel. It'll just stay in my Jeep right now that I don't have a hard mounted solution, okay? So the size is great. Two, it's very inexpensive. I wanna say these are anywhere between $25 to $35 from the time I purchased it on my Amazon store. They do fluctuate a little bit, but they're very easy to get. If you look on Amazon, you can Amazon Prime them overnight to you because they're inexpensive. You can order several. And then I'm not sure how durable they are. So far they've been okay, but if you break them, it's not like like $150 radio or something like that. So they're inexpensive and they are a good size to put wherever you need. Also, they're accessible, like I said, through Amazon Prime if you have that. So what's great about these though, and really I think the most important part of these little things, these two-way radios, is they transmit over 4 bands, okay? Now, we're not gonna get too in-depth. We're gonna do just real basic beginner stuff. Why? Because that's where I'm at, and as I grow on this journey, right? This is a journey, I'm not an expert. We'll upgrade from this beginning phase, okay? So radio nerds, don't skewer me, or do, whatever. But this is the reason why I chose this. The 4 bands, okay? So you have FMS, which is the family mobile system, which is very common. Those are the radios that you're gonna find like in Target or Walmart or a convenience store. And then next is the general mobile radio service, which is GMRS. UHF, VHF, ham, and those are the 4 bands that it transmits over, which is why I like it also, okay? So real quick, FMS, which is the family system, doesn't have a lot of restrictions. You can pick those up easy. The difference between that and all the other radios is that their little antenna is affixed, meaning you can't take it off, upgrade, or whatnot, and it doesn't have all the frequency buttons on the front to access other freaks than, I think it's like, what, 1 to 22 in the FMS? I don't know, it could be it. So you can transmit to those if somebody has those like in your caravan, or that's who you need to talk to, okay? Next, the GMRS, the general mobile radio system, has a fee. You pay the fee and then you're good for 10 years. That's the direction that I'm gonna go, or did go. And you can see here how to do that, okay? So that one's really great because you get your call sign, you pay, you're good for 10 years, and everybody in your family can use that call sign or use that system or frequency or band, okay? This radio will do that too. Next, UHF, VHF. This is really the ultimate direction that you need to go, and also I need to go. Right now it's a little difficult because you have to take the test in person to actually watch you. You got to study and do that stuff. I just don't have the time allotment for that right now, but also with the current environment, it's difficult, if anything, to find a course or have that services open. I haven't been able to, nor do I have the time to do that, okay? So I'm getting there. And for, like I said, radio nerds, that's the direction that you should go because we need to be licensed and have a better understanding of that stuff, okay? So 4 bands, totally doable with this. This thing is good for up to 2 miles. So let's address that real quick. Side note, who are you going to be talking to, right? If you need communication, sit down, think about it. You know, maybe it is just a caravan. You have a couple of Jeeps in your group, in your club. You come to a course, right? And you want to communicate through that as you're learning, or you want to identify maybe an obstacle, or like I said prior, maybe you're hunting or an amusement park. Kids got these, whatever. These are great for 2 miles. One of the things that we used to use back in the day, and a lot of guys still do, I guess, when I started getting into Jeeps, is they use CB, right? CB radios, although aren't bad, they're not the greatest because they're line of sight, right? Meaning that if you go around a corner, CB tends to fall apart, and these do really great, and up for 2 miles. So in consideration of who I want to speak to, right? That's the big point. These are perfect because it will always be within a 2 mile range. On that note, you can actually get a bigger antenna for these and magnify that over about 25 miles. So if you want to do that later or add like a 12 volt antenna on, let's say, your vehicle, you could also extend the range on these things. So there's lots of possibilities, right? You know me, I like modularity, I like capability and possibilities, and I think that this cheap little radio, this controversial little radio, is the best bet for that, right? So we talked about, the size, the frequencies, we talked about the range, we talked about the price point, and they're also kind of cool looking, right? I mean, look at this little red, you can get them in camo, whatever you need, this will suit it at a very beginning entry level. Now, there is a couple little gray area pieces that I do want to go over because the FCC is a little funny. Me, I don't really believe in all this regulation stuff that comes with the Second Amendment, the Second Amendment community, firearms, but also within radio. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, okay? So there's a couple of things that make this little gray area radio, and this is kind of where some people get frustrated with it. One is that the antenna comes off, okay? That's one of those gray area things that is just that. The other is that you can cross bands, have different frequencies, and access bands that you need to have a license on, right? You can definitely buy these, listen on the ham frequencies, and not comment into them or transmit into them, and you'll be totally fine, okay? I will tell you that you should have a license, like I keep saying, for the ham frequencies, and you should not be interfering with those things unless you do, okay? You will get in trouble for something like that, and we'll just leave it there. So the antenna and the buttons and the frequencies are what I think is also what's pretty cool about that. You can see the other two I have here. This one's got a little tactical folding antenna. I'll leave the link on that to my Amazon store there in the descriptions too. But I wanted to see if it would give me maybe more clarity or even maybe just a little bit more range. So far, it does really well. We did a couple courses in October, November-ish, around that time frame, like 4 or 5. And I had a caravan of up to 10 vehicles with me, and these radios did great, all the way from my tail gunner to me who was leading it. They did awesome, and they did even better than the CB. That's the point I'm trying to make here, right? So I do have this one just because it deserves an honorable mention. You can no longer get these anymore. This is a rugged radio or a race radio. I had this in my vehicle for a couple of years now, actually. And what's funny about it is Rugged used to sell these. You can't get these anymore from them. And it's the same thing. It's a Baofeng with a blue coat on it and their names. So these were interesting because back in the day, they were being sold as like a license-free race radio system. And recently, over the last year, the FCC put a stop to it, and you can no longer buy these. So they have to use an alternate frequency. So when we're looking at bands, race radios can also be accessed, right? Or race frequencies can also be accessed by something like this. So next week, I'm going to be traveling to Johnson Valley I have been planning and working on this and just kind of keeping it a little bit more quiet on YouTube, but a little more in your face on Instagram if you guys follow me on Instagram. We're gonna be racing in the Everyman Challenge on the 4500 class, car 903. My buddy Derek Miller and I. Derek is an awesome salt of the earth dude. He built this car with his hands, he's a fabricator. It's a Toyota Sequoia. It's on it's on 1 tons, Dana 60s. Typically it's on 40s, but for this class, we dropped it down to 37s. And we're gonna race it. So it's really great. If you know anything about King of the Hammers or Ultra 4, it's a race of attrition. Our goal is just to complete this race, right? Reason I bring that up is because I'm super hyped to do that and excited that we're doing that in a couple weeks. But if you look up online, King of the Hammers, race radio frequencies, they'll have that there so you can access and listen to whatever team you want, okay? So the pros do it all the time. Pretty cool little thing there. Don't interrupt them. Obviously, again, with that whole be respectful thing, which you can do that, right? So what's also great about that, like I said, is the availability and the way to access, the race radios, ham, UHF, VHF, FMS, GMRS. This little radio does all those. Also, you can look up the FMS crossover frequencies. I believe it's 1 to 22 channels on FMS, and then GMRS has a direct chart frequency crossover that you can dial into here and then also communicate on the FMS frequencies. That's typically how we use these for those who haven't paid for GMRS. I'll put a chart up or a link to that too. So this is, again, the versatility, the modularity of these little things. From a beginner standpoint, you can't beat it. From the range that I want to use it at 2 miles, with the potential to go about 25, these things are really great. I haven't had these long term. Like I said, October, November, December, January, 4 months, and they're doing great. This one I've had, geez. You know what, now that I think about it, I've had this one since we did the Falcon Tire overland trip after we were in Overland Expo. So what was that, 2018? And this one's, this one just gets thrown in. Now it's in a bag or in my Fieldcraft Mobility bag behind my seat, and it's doing fine. So these are the same radios. In closing, like I said, I'm not an expert. These are just the things that I'm getting into because it is a pillar. It is a beginning entry level. And again, this is a journey. We get caught up a lot of times on YouTube about perfection or however, elitism or whatnot. But I have no problems in saying, this is a good idea, especially for now and for those of you guys who are getting into it. So if you like this video, it was driven by conversations on Instagram, guys. We do a lot of lives. We do a weekly live on Wednesday. I'm probably going to start transitioning more to doing that here on YouTube. But these are the conversations that we've been having a lot. We have something like 8 million new firearm owners within the country because of the natural things that are happening. For example, Simi Valley last week had wind gusts of up to 100 miles per hour, and the power had to be shut down just so it wouldn't create even more of an issue. So just natural things, like I'm not talking about this in like the zombie apocalypse is gonna happen, but we got real things going on, right? We have fires in California. At one point when I was teaching in October, November-ish, we had like 2 hurricanes in the Gulf, COVID-19, civil unrest. These things are actually happening. So that's part of the reason why we share this stuff, and for me personally, why I'm learning this and getting into it, just because I want to be prepared, because my family is worth it, right? So like, subscribe, tell your friend, share this. If you have any more questions, or if you want me to get my opinion or dive into something else, we're going to continue to roll out these pillars of preparedness items, these pieces of EDC and safe havens, which I really haven't done anything about or produce any content on, although I do have stuff that I'm actively doing. Let me know in the comments. This is all conversation driven. This is stuff that I like. If it's something you like too, let me know, and we'll do it. So I'll catch you on the next one, fam. Talk to you soon.